Hello, everyone, and everything that's watching this. You might be watching it with your dog, or your bird, or your cat, or your manticore, or your lizard. But I don't know. You can watch this with anything. A squirrel, even though it's probably does not gonna pay attention to it. But hi, I'm Wheat Anime or Anime Wheat, and I welcome you to part 5 of What If Deku Had a Copy Quirk. Now, Uh, one thing to say before we start this, actually, two social medias, all at We Anime, by the way. Um, and then there's classes, my new series about D&D classes and whatever else I want to talk about. Uh, right. We'll start. The first episode will be out tomorrow, where I'll be talking about the barbarian class. Um, okay, if you like D&D or know people who like D&D, recommend that video. Um, I made a post recently about my upload schedule. I also added my classes series to it every once a month or twice once or twice a month. Episodes will be out. Okay. So, anyways, let's get into it. It's time for the final exam, and let's go. So, last time when we saw Midoriya, he was fighting the hero killer Stain. Um, Stain. He was fighting Stain of the Earth. No, I'm joking. I love Stain. I like him as a character a lot. But yeah, he was. He took out the hero killer Stain, right? Quick and easy. Well, not easy or quick. But yeah, you all get it. I hope you do at least. I hope you all get my thing. Anyways, this part we will be going over the final exam arc. Um, okay, right. We're going to fight over the final exam, and yeah, that's what we're gonna just go straight into the written portion of the exam. I mean, there's nothing much there to do except for a written portion of the exam, right? Nothing much to do, right? Anyways, uh, Midoriya would, he would pass the written exam, and now it's time for the physical portion, I guess. Uh, the physical portion, it's that time, right? And I'm also sorry about the background noise, if you can hear it. I feel like it's just quiet enough where I can't really hear it if I edit it out, but I also feel like it's loud enough for you all to hear. I don't know. I'm sorry if you do. Uh, anyways. Uh, ooh, that one there. I need to turn my brightness up. Sorry. That sounds like a personal thing of mine. I need to do it. So I can actually see. I can see anyways. Anyways. Yes. As well, Midoriya would clearly pass the written portion. Getting into the physical portion, I mean, everyone did the physical. Anyways, never mind. Uh, Patamton was behind me. So, as Midoriya would go through the written portion, he'd be mostly, I'm gonna go over the thoughts of him during the written exam. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So as he's doing the written exam, he couldn't stop thinking what happened earlier that month, um, where he went face to face with a very dangerous man, um, named Stain, and he couldn't keep his mind off of what he said or anything he spoke about how heroes are fake. The only good ones are the ones that don't do it for the money and do it for protecting the people. And he would keep on thinking about his classmates that are just doing it for either using their quirk freely or the money. And he would start to get this mindset of, I mean, they're not bad people for doing it. Maybe, I mean, some people have had terrible upbringings and just didn't have a lot of money and wanted to feel how much money they had if they had a lot. Or if they're doing it for parents, like Uraka. But yet, that all whittles down to you're still doing it for the money and the fame and everything else. You're not doing it to protect the weak, to protect the innocent people of this world, of this country. But yet he would have to deal with that later on as he already finished his test and it's time for the physical portion of the final exam of the first year. And unluckily for Midoriya, he would have to go against All Might and team with Bakugo. Well, not unluckily. I mean, unluckily in the fact that they had to fight All Might. Um, Not the teaming up with Bakugo part is bad. It's good for him because they're friends, right? So they would come up with a plan on what they would do. Midoriya would use a quirk where either the cursed twilight creatures or phantom mirror. They're also in their hero suits, by the way. I mean, they all were. So as the fight it would begin. They would be able to run into the city, the fake city, and Midoriya would start with the plan. The cursed twilight creatures would go around and not Phantom Mirror, I meant to say Phantom Outlier. Midoriya he would say, cursed twilight creatures, and behind him, the ogre type creatures, orcs. They're orc. I think they're the same thing, but I'm not entirely sure. So they're orcs. The orcs, like in solo leveling, when like the tusk, like lower ones, that's what they look like. Okay, I just want to make that clear. That's what they all look like, with all different sizes of weapons. Okay, I explained that last part. So yeah, as these shadow twilight, these creatures would come up out of Midoriya's shadow. Midoriya would use Phantom Outlier, and multiples of him and Bakugo would arise out of their each other's shadows. Midoriya would say, "Okay, you go with that one. I'll go with this one," and we split up around the city, just loop around. We have no reason. We're gonna get beat if we fight him head on. Okay, we both know this. Even though they have weights. So this is what we are going to have to do. We're gonna have to go around and around. Okay, I'll go with this Bakugo, you go with that me, and everyone else will split up into two groups and go around. Okay, now spread out. Now you all, and he would look back at the orcs. Go straight ahead. Just don't stop marching. And then boom, boom, they would both disperse. Well, they would go their separate ways as fast as they could, um, without using their quirks. Bakugo would have to not use his explosions to not draw attention to him. And the orcs in this large army would have to, well, would be just walking down the street. And All Might just took him out in one shot. Just boom! Except for the bigger one. There was one bigger one in the army where Midoriya made him to where he can probably survive a couple, like, hand-to-hand blows with All Might. Like, they could trade blows. Right? So, he would have the bigger guy that could go blow to blow. Well, they would be going to blow. Right? Just boom, 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 boom. Right at each other, right, left. What this orc would look like is no shirt, pants, with, like, at the end it would, like, tie around, like, his foot, like the under of his foot into, like, a bow on, like, above the foot. It, like, the fabric would go around and tie on the top, and with, like, tears all over the pants, and above, like, on his arms would be, like, gauntlets, like bone gauntlets that would be like, good lord, I can tell you what I'll need to do is check the audio on this. Right, he would have gauntlets that would have, like knuckles, like brass knuckles on them, like on the top bone, right? So they could do a little bit more damage in there. And plus, he would have two, like, overbites of massive tusks. And he would have, like, I don't know, like, just bald and, like, a tattoo of a sort going up his face, like on the left side of his face, going up, and then curves around over his eye, right, into like a spike. And as he would be going, they would be trading blows, All Might and him. The people up in the booth, just watching this. How did Midoriya make this thing so strong? And Aizawa would say, he had help from All Might, is how he made it this strong. He wanted to test something out. with this quirk of his. Well, that one in particular. See, he had All Might throw a couple punches at at 50% power or something. I don't remember. I was there, so for other supervision, right? But I mean, never expected this. I mean, he even made one with me. It was pretty cool. Now, given it's not down there, but it's more of a faster one instead of physical power. Maybe he'll show you later. But you pay attention to this. Watch where they are. They're starting to close in on each other. And they'd be looking at the cameras. Seeing Midoriya and Bakugo close in to each other, right? And when they would, the two outliers is what I'm calling them, would go together and would head the other way, like towards All Might and the massive orc that Midoriya named Nori. No, 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 no. He would call him Tor. Yeah, sure, Tor. Tor. Right. Now, given this, I want to make this entirely clear. This is a copy quirk. Okay? So, I'm gonna do a solo leveling, like Sun Jin Woo based one. Like, where he gets the system, right? I'll be doing that in the future. Okay. I just thought of doing this because it would be cool, right? I thought it would be very cool to do this. Okay. So, as, like, All Might already beat Tor, right? Already beat him down and dusted, right? And as this would happen, All Might would see two silhouettes in an alleyway. Like, one on either side of him, one being Midoriya, and the other being Bakugo, ready to attack. So All Might would throw a punch at Midoriya, and the shock waves would go flying towards him, and the buildings would collapse on top of Midoriya. Midoriya didn't dodge. And the other one, he would throw at Bakugo. Same thing would happen. He would look back at Midoriya. I put silhouettes, not silhouettes, quotations over that. And they would both stand up through the, the, what is that? What are those? Oh god, the debris of the two attacks, right? He would stand up through the debris, and now All Might's noticing that these two are not the real ones, and he would turn around, seeing the two real ones running towards the thing, and he would just blast off, just boom, right? Just going as fast as he could with all the weight on him, and he would use Detroit Smash? Maybe that's too much. Montana Smash. I highly doubt. I know he names them a lot about. I know he has United States Smash. Then there's Detroit, then New York. I don't know. He would use one, like one of the weaker ones. Right. Midoriya would use to block this bronze beams and quaking dragon. Bronze beings would take up the mm, blunt force of it. Like, oh no, 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 this is what's happening. Two dragons would have like jaw, like just biting on the bronze beams to make it like a wall. Like, and there would be three like massive beams of bronze just holding it together until they would break and then shatter. Like everything would just break. But yet by that time, they would both already pass. Right? And yeah, they pass. Uh, and then once they would get out of there, they would all con, contrag, oh god, uh, con, con, praise them, on what they just accomplished, right? And yeah, uh, Midoriya that night would still have the same dream as usual. Well, he would expect to have the same dream as he usually does. The one where I'm just gonna time skip until nighttime. Okay, they're in their dorms, going to sleep, and as Midori would lay down, he would he would start to expect the same dream as usual, the same cryptic dream that he usually has. And the dream he always has would say, "You have more power than you would ever believe." And that's what would always happen. There would be another voice, and a weird showing of what he expects to be his future, of him taking down villains left, right, and center with no one. No one would be there around him. In his dream, he would always look around, seeing no one, no civilians around. A wasteland is the only way he could describe it as. A wasteland of what Japan used to be, or this part of Japan used to be. But yet, unknowing to him, he would actually have a different dream for one of the first times in his life. Ever since he got to UA, started training, he would kept on having that dream that would say, "You have more power than you ever would believe." And in this new dream, he would say, the voice would say, nothing. All it would do is show a scene of Midoriya hand through a man's chest. And once it would get into like a third person view, Midoriya would have a third eye on his forehead. And he would be quite confused on this. He would say, well, once he would wake up, he would think, that's not even humanly possible unless you have a quirk like that. And I can't copy quirks like that. And he would touch up to his face, over the marking on his face, and he would say, "Is it because of this? Is it the reason why I'm having these dreams. I just want to know before it gets someone I love hurt. And that's where I'm going to end it today, folks. Um, yeah, that's, like I said, that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you all for watching. Uh, remember tomorrow, if you like D&D or know people who like D&D or play D&D or know of D&D, send them, just recommend my video classes. And yeah, I have been We Anime. You all, well, I have been Wheat. That doesn't sound good. I need uh, hmm. I know you all don't comment a lot, but I just need help. What should I call myself? I know, like, oh, I know We Anime. That's who I am. Okay, but I mean, like, for like outros, like, I have been blah blah blah, and you all have been great. Uh, the creator. No. I have been We Anime, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.